गुरु बंधु सखा गुरु मात पिता गुरु बंधु सखा चरण तेरे चरणों में प्रियतम तुम्हें प्राणनाथ तुम्हें प्रियतम हृदयनाथ तुम्हें चरणों में कोटि प्रणाम। गुरु बंधु सखा तेरे चरण में कोटि तुम्ही साधना तुम्ही प्रेरणा तुम्ही साधना तुम्ही आराधना मेरे सोम शिवा तुम्ही आराधना मेरे सोम शिवा गुरु मात पिता गुरु बंधु सखा तेरे चरण तुम्ही प्रेम हो तुम्ही करुणा हो तुम्ही प्रेम हो तुम्ही करुणा हो तुम्ही प्रेम हो तुम्ही करुणा हो मोक्ष मेरे सोम तुम ही मोक्ष हो। सो गुरु बंधु सखा तेरे चरणों में कोटि प्रणाम। तेरे चरण कोटि प्रणाम। तुम्हें प्राणनाथ तुम्हें काम तुम्हें हृदयनाथ तुम्हें।
Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Mooji Ji ki Jai. Not connected. Now it's connected. Hello. Can you tell? No, it's working. It's connected. Okay. So why am this? We are doing the Ashtavakra Gita, and in November I want to finish as much as we can. Years ago I was saying I want to finish the entire thing. So jump right in. So yesterday we looked at, which is from chapter 13, verse 1, the tranquil state of knowing self is rare, even among those who own but a lion cloth. I therefore neither renounce nor accept, and I'm happy. So we looked at this one. Let's go to the next one, which is the body is trained by the tongue, tires of scripture, the mind numbs with meditation. Detached from all this, I live as I am. So this is Janaka speaking. And Janaka is now speaking from the perspective of having seen the truth, the reality of who he is, the solitary witnessing this awareness. And if you look at this verse, it's crafted very beautifully. because it goes through various levels of existence as well as practices which have been prescribed for those level of existences.
Father, sorry, you got muted accidentally. Father? You got muted accidentally.
Huh? Okay. Maybe that's a sign that I should just keep quiet today. Enough Ashtavakra, enough talk. Hi, how are you? So when we look at this level of identification, which is, and it's a scene that we talked about doership the last few days. What do I have to do if I'm already that? You see? But if I'm identified with the body, if I identify as if I am the body, then at that some practices could be useful. But now, the reality of who I am, I see that doing these spiritual push-ups is not evil. So now they are let go of. But let go of does not mean that we are in some passive state in the body now. It only means that the idea, the concept of doership itself is dropped. Doer, I am. And just like this entire world is always changing, this body is always changing also. This hand is moving, this mouth is moving, but there is no doer. That much is clear. Also, the sages look at this aspect of right action. There are these three levels of good behavior which are prescribed by some scriptures. Right action, right thought, right action, right speech, right thought. Now, after the self is realized, after the self is recognized, it is seen that all actions are happening on their own. The concept of right action had some value seemingly at some point. Now it is dropped. The tongue tires of scripture. You see, and this was the time where learning and chanting of scriptures was very important. It's going? But we are on the same one, no? Which one are you? Oh, mine is going. I'll get. Just can you knock on that door and get that router? Okay, we'll disconnect for a minute and come back. Mine seems to be perfectly fine, actually. Is it good for you guys? bad. It's not that good, but okay. That doesn't tell us what to do next. It's breaking up a bit. Okay, I disconnect for a minute. I'll come back. Still the video is not there? Video is there? Oh, okay. Save me, somebody, I'm stuck in that box. Free me, free me. So you're waiting for God's hand to come. Free. So, what are we saying? The body is trained by practices, the tongue tires of scripture, the mind numbs with meditation. Detached from all this, I live as I am. Okay, let's do something else. Since God doesn't want us to do it this way, let's see. If you want to be detached from all this, can we try and figure out first how to attach to all this? Is it? And most of you have been in satsang, so you know that the body is an appearance. An appearance of what? An appearance of some sensations and the appearance of the visual perception of this body. Speech, is another appearance, audible appearance. The movement of the tongue is another appearance. The mind is nothing but a bundle of thoughts. Another appearance, isn't it? A set of appearances. Imagination, memory, and thoughts. All appearing. Janaka is saying, I am detached from all of this. And I live as I am. So are we attached to all of this? Wanted to, how would you attach to an appearance? If you decided, let's actually try. Outside world, pick something which is nice that you want to be attached to and say, okay, I will try and attach to this appearance. It could be an object, it could be a person. How would you create this attachment? How to do it? It is an appearance. So first what? First attention must have gone to it. Otherwise it will not appear at all. So attention is gone. And then now you say what? Take the mic.
So first the attention goes, and then thought must arise of either a thought arises that this will make me happy, or this is the cause of my unhappiness.
Now take a real example. Radha is in front of you.
Yeah.
How will you attach to her?
First I must at least believe that Radha is really there.
Yes, okay.
If I don't believe she's there, maybe I won't get attached.
Yeah.
But if I believe the funny thing is that first I will have to believe that I'm also
Yes, that is more important.
there. That
That
I'm
you
there
exist as an entity, and
then I must first think that, okay, I'm here as an entity who has likes and dislikes and can be attached. So I have to have this belief
presumption
first.
of I.
Yeah.
Then
This subtle, and then I have to see, okay, this is another entity like me sitting there. Now that we're saying Radha,
yeah.
and just whatever actions or whatever she does, then I can like them or dislike them, or have a story about them,
Yes.
basically.
So take a story.
So the story can be that Radha.
Do it lightly, okay? I don't want you to get obsessed or something with Radha.
No, I'm just saying. No, but I'm getting obsessed with firstly what I just found myself saying, that
Yeah.
I must believe myself to be a person to begin with.
Yeah.
This. So
Yeah.
can I go back
So
to
let's
that
let's
space
take that
there?
very slowly.
Yeah.
The appearances are all appearing. No person is here yet. How do you presume yourself to be a person now? Suppose the thought is coming only about the appearance. You say, oh, she's a very good singer.
Yeah.
You see, I want to be friends with her. You see? So this thought is coming. Now, in the buying of this thought itself, it didn't have to specifically tell you that you are a person. The presumption is already sold in that there is an entity here who wants to be friends with her because she's a very good singer. You see? So, not only did this thought create the presumption that I am an entity, it also sold you the idea that that appearance is a separate entity. You see? But these thoughts will appear. You see? The thought came, everything that is appearing, the usual state of humanity is that the interpreter mind is sitting over there and giving us ideas. So the thought will appear. Is just by the appearance of the thought, are you attached?
So, no, just by the appearance of, like you just said, if a feeling is just coming that I'm a person or something, it's just now it kind of penny dropped that it's also another thought,
Yeah.
and it doesn't need to be bought into.
Yeah.
It can also be allowed to just, or at least can be witnessed to. Or if you patiently wait and see, it will go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the reflex is so quick that it seems just like natural to, and then the story with the other one. I think they both arise together. Me
Yeah,
and the other
exactly.
are coming at the same
Exactly.
time.
Exactly. So, if you were a real spiritual warrior with lots of spiritual muscle, then a sage might come to you and say, just let go of all your thoughts. Finished. You have disposed of the mind. No attachment is possible. Is it? And when the sharing of satsang started here, also the pointing was let go of your thoughts. Then what started to happen was people would come and say, but I'm not able to let go. And I would say, but what do you mean not able to let go? Then they would say, oh, my attention is still very attracted to these thoughts. I cannot divest my attention from them. So I said, okay, let's make it even simpler. Let go of your next thought. That's all, just the next one. You see? And they said, okay, then now you're trying to trick us because thoughts only come one by one. So it's the same thing. Then I said, okay, let your attention also go to the thoughts if you want. Just don't give them your belief. So if the thought comes, I am a pink elephant, attention can still go to it. But just because attention went to the thought, I am a pink elephant, we don't believe it. So then the pointing changed to become, don't believe your next thought. That is simple, isn't it? Simpler. But you see that it is only through belief in this presumption, which is sold through the thought, that there is separation that actually happened, that I can attach to the outside world. You see? In the same way, we attach to the body. Actions are happening in the body. A thought comes and says, you should not have done that. Oh, good, you did that. Is it? Maybe you should do that. Is it? And it is just a presumption that the movement is being controlled by the appearance of this measly energy construct called thought. This doership is completely false, and doership plays a strong role in creating this sense of body identification. I am the body. Because it sells you a lie that the body is moving to your instruction. Actually, the movement of the body is just happening. You see? The mind will come and say, no, no, I'll show you, I'll move the body now and show you. See? And anytime when this thought comes, it's believed, the body also doesn't move. But sometimes it does move. And the mind comes and says, see, I told you. It's just a series of random happenings. You see? As it is said in the Yoga Vashisht. The bird came and sat on the branch of the coconut tree and the coconut fell. The story that is told by the mind is that these are a series of connected events. One is the cause of another. Post hoc ergo propter hoc. It's a popular fallacy that just because something precedes another thing, it is the cause of that thing. Then you ask the mind, so do you know how to move your hand? Yes, I'll move it and show you. But how do you do it? Do you know how to fire a neuron? Do you actually know how to do anything, even energetically? It doesn't know. So if it doesn't know, then why do we give it so much credit that it is doing these actions? So to believe ideas about doership is one, and to believe ideas about sensations happening to this individual me, the body is being experienced. Look at those sensations now and tell me how these are your sensations. Who is the me that is experiencing these sensations? Who is the personal me who is suffering or experiencing these sensations, either of pain or of pleasure? Don't interpret, just look. Find the sensation in your body and find out in which space it is being experienced. See if there's a person there in this space. If there's an entity which is suffering from this experience, whatever the experience might be. And just like you cannot find the entity that wanted to have a relationship with the appearance of another outside seemingly, you cannot find the entity who is the experiencer of this pain. There is no individual entity. See if you can find a me entity. What are the attributes of this one? What is the size and shape of this one? What is the location of this one? Know that because we say entity, it means that it must be located within time and space. Find out whether the space in which these sensations are being experienced is limited in any way. See how the sensations which seem to define the boundaries of your body are actually not your boundaries. These sensations are experienced within your own space. of existence, of being. How do we attach to these sensations? Only by believing an idea about them. By believing the subtle story that I am this body. But I am not. Just like traffic on the street, these sensations are also appearing for you. Appearing and disappearing. The space in which they appear is untouched by them. So what have we seen now? We've seen that there is no me that can attach to an outside object. There is no me which is the owner of this body or is the body itself. There is no such me. And by now, if you're new to Satsang especially, many of you will find that your mind is screaming, saying, yes, of course there is me, it is my body. What are you talking about? See? So look at even this. Look at even this. Outward appearances we saw. Body experiences we saw. Now look at the mind. Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi has said the mind is a bundle of thoughts. So look at the appearance of your next thought. Notice how you perceive it. Do you perceive it as a sound? Do you perceive it as a visual? In what way do you interact with this energy construct called thought? Your first level of engagement is using this primal tool called attention. Attention is what brings phenomena to life. That which attention goes to seems to exist phenomenally. But there is another primal power called the power of belief. Because attention can go to all thoughts, but not all thoughts are believed. The power to give relevance and meaning, the power to pretend to be something that we are not, power of belief. And every single thought is telling you the story of your separation, of your individuality. Now, if belief has gone to this thought, then that is the basis for an attachment which is called conditioning. Once we believe a thought, that becomes a condition. We have attached an idea seemingly in the pretense, we have attached an idea to the pure presence I am. This I am, now we have attached an idea to it saying, I am right, I am wrong, I am truthful, I am happy, I am suffering. All these are conditions which seem to get appended to that which is fundamentally unattached, this pure presence of being. The only way to attach to an appearance is to believe an interpretation or judgment, basically to believe a thought about it. Because what is an attachment? It is to label something which is just an appearance, me or mine. To say that something which is just appearing and going to disappear, that is me or it belongs to me, that is the basis of attachment. So, when the sage said, the body is trained by practices, the tongue tires of scripture, the mind numbs with meditation, detached from all of this, I live as I am. You see? So if you're not attaching anything, any concept to the pure presence I am, then that is what is called unassociated being, unassociated presence. And that is the point of satsang, to drop the ignorance that I am something, to drop the idea that I am something, which is the mantra of the world, isn't it? You must become something, you must become something. Nobody says you must become nothing. Just make sure you become nothing, okay? So this, in this simplicity of not attaching to anything, is surrender, is openness, is non-resistance. And ego is another name for resistance. If you just allow everything to come and go, then it is the most natural existence, without the fallacy of a separate entity, without the fallacy of an ego. I exist. See? That's all that's needed to be said, actually. So why is it that if this is true, then why did the sages suggest meditation? Why did they suggest reading of scripture? Why did they suggest practices? Did they want to just mess with us? Or did they just wanted to fool us? No. It is because not many can actually see this just in the simplicity of what it is. I have said, don't believe your next thought or let go of your thoughts. If this is just heard without resistance, no trouble. We were talking yesterday and saying usually there'll be a but. You say yes, yes, it seems all right, but what about my day-to-day practical life and my work? What about my career? His but will come. So it is in response to this belief, which is the opposite of surrender, which is actually saying that if I just let go, then I don't know, maybe God will make a big mess out of my life. You see? He doesn't know how to make money. I'm the expert at it. He can maybe move a few planets here and there, a few trillion ones. And how does he know how to take out money from the ATM in India? For that I need me, you see, me. I have to do it. Yeah. So that is why when we buy into these fallacies that I have to intervene in my life, the sage is given the question, can you inquire? Find out who you are. This one that you call me, which one is this one? Okay. So, if surrender doesn't work, if letting go doesn't work, then a practice is offered. And the practice can be very beautiful because it helps to look at the basis of this conditioning, the false conditioning, and see that there is nobody there. Who am I? There is no person here. I cannot find it. It was just a big myth. Without labeling this appearance, I find no separation. All is one. So, if inquiry doesn't happen, we were saying yesterday also that if inquiry doesn't happen, you say, okay, I'm not able to understand the question. Of course it's me. What is the point of this question? Of course it's me. What are you asking really? You see? Then the sage might say, okay, for some time, find a way to give some peace to your mind. Meditate. And a meditation technique will be taught to you. And if meditation technique is taught and it takes a hold on you, then later when the question is asked, who are you? Who am I? It seems to be a real question. It seems to be an important question. And you're able to check because the mind is not so rampant with thoughts. But some of us, we are not able to meditate. You say, I sit for meditation and all the distractions, all the email I'm supposed to send, all the WhatsApp messages I'm getting, I don't know what the Prime Minister is announcing. I want to know he had a special address at 8 tonight. The mind is distracted. I'm not able to meditate. And the meditation technique that you have given me is not working. So then the sage might say, okay, here is a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. Is it? Big one. You can read that. You stand over there, flip, read the scripture. Because you are then engaged in the energetic presence of this beautiful scripture. And in reading the scripture over and over, our mental concepts are hammered by the words of the Master, the Sadguru, speaking as consciousness, as Krishna, whatever word you want to use. So it is in the Master's compassion in response to a sincere request in the play of this Leela that the Master might say, yes, you study a scripture for a few months, and in the study of it, you might find that now the mind is not that active, thoughts are not so rampant, we are able to sit in some stillness. And then you might find that as you are able to sit in some stillness, you're able to inquire into the question, who am I? And it might lead you to some recognition of the self, which is attributeless. Then to surrender these thoughts, then the thought comes and says, but you have to do this tomorrow. You see that I am that attributeless, non-phenomenal awareness. All doing is happening as a play in front of me. Then it becomes easier not to believe the voice of this mind. You see? But for some of us, even to read a scripture is not possible. They say, okay, come to satsang and just sit. Even if you're not getting anything, if it's all sounding like blah, 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 this abstract stuff, just come and sit. You might find that in the energy of the satsang, something starts to open up. And some will say, even that is not happening. It's like boring beyond measure. I'm dying here. Give me something else I can do. Say, okay, here is a mantra. You chant it. 1 hour every day, half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening, chant it. Some peace. Even that is not happening. Then the first line, trained by practices, I say, okay, do some hatha yoga. Move your body this way, this way, this way, then breathe in this way, this way, this way. And you might get some peace of mind. Now, as one who has gone through all of this, and you come to the point of the simple seeing that, hey, I've always been this awareness, the self. What have I been doing all of this? From that point, then you can say these words. The body is trained by practices. Tires of scripture. The mind numbs with meditation. Detached from all of this, I live as I am. So those who had this clear these words with authenticity. And they are true because in the midst of all of the play of separation, nothing really happened to awareness. So it's all ultimately about this entire play of freedom and satsang is about two things. One is the authenticity of the self-recognition, and the second is the dropping of this false voice called the mind. Very simply, dispose of the mind and you are free. But even this is handed over to the mind. You see. How am I exposing the mind? No, that's impossible. How will you live? Hey, gone. It is just, Bhagavan used to say actually that some of you are so dry, firewood, that a spark can burn you. So dry. So you just Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. You just hear these words, I am that. I am Brahman itself. Boom. Gone. Is it clear? But these in the worldly appearance are rare. Okay? So the rest of it is just drying the firewood so that it can be burned to light the fire of self-recognition and to burn the false conditioning. You see? If no drying is needed, then no practice is needed, no inquiry is also needed. How to tell whether dying is needed? You know. In your heart, you know. In your heart, you know whether the sense of being a separate individual, whether there's a sense of individual suffering, whether the sense of individual desire and aversion still remains. You're and Bhagavan has given the most beautiful sword to of this non-existent personal entity, which is the inquiry. Ask yourself, who am I? And once it is authentically seen, and suffering seems like an alien concept, then even this stick you can throw into the fire. Not needed. Another very nice litmus test is to see whether there is resistance to the inquiry. If there is resistance to the inquiry, why would there be? If it seems like, no, I don't want to do the inquiry anymore, I'm done with all of this, then what are we speaking as? Because I can tell you from my experience at least, and not presuming that this has to be everyone's experience, but here there is no resistance to inquiry. The inquiry is not done in the same way maybe. You sit and you say, okay, who am I? But that active looking is very beautiful and it continues here. Just like we were joking the other day and saying, sometimes just who is enough. Sometimes just who is enough. That's inquiry, done. We are not saying do a half an hour or make it a point to do it like this. You see, but why would you not want to look? It's so glorious what you're finding. Why would we not want to look? If you are coming to this direct seeing of the self, awareness aware of itself, and consciousness coming to this recognition, what is there to resist? It's more beautiful than any experience you can have phenomenally. So what resists is only the idea that I don't need this anymore because it feels like work. And if it feels like work, we must be able to check whether some concept of doership still remains, is still alive. Because it is most effortless actually. But it wants to take everything. It wants to take everything from you. Every single concept of freedom. Also it will take. Verse number 3. Realizing that nothing is done, I do what comes and I'm happy. You see, what does this mean? Realizing that nothing is done, I do what comes and I'm happy. And that once the concept of doership itself is dropped, and we've been stressing on this point, doesn't mean that you have to go and lead a passive existence in a cave. It just means that there is no doer, But in the light of consciousness, this movie is still playing. The next scene is appearing. The movement of this body continues. Just like your breathing continues, your heart continues to beat. All actions can continue. You might become a missionary saint like Shankara, or you might become a recluse like Ashtavakra. We don't know any of these things. We're just watching this movie play out. But because I don't identify with doership, I remain happy. Fourth, yogis who preach either effort or non-effort are still attached to the body. I neither dissociate nor associate with any of that. I am happy. You see? So preach either effort or non-effort. So this is talking about the various schools of practice and various schools of jnana. And that if you're saying you have to do this, then you're still referring to me as if I'm a separate entity. Now all of this is gone. You see? I neither associate nor disassociate. I just remain as I am. You see? So this is the continuation of abiding in the self. What does that look like? As we are letting go of these thoughts, effortless presence is here. An effortless awareness of this presence is here. And I see that I am this awareness. From this point, I can say, I am not concerned with any of this, either effort or non-effort. I have nothing to gain or lose by standing, walking, or sitting down. So whether I stand, walk, or sit, I am happy. This reminded me actually. Katie had said something, Byron Katie, that all you're basically doing is standing, sitting, or lying down. And all the rest is just minor. And so he says that in the movement of this body, that is standing, sitting, lying down, what happens to me as awareness? It remains unchanged, unmoved. What will I get? By extreme effort, will I become more awareness? If I'm just lying on the bed all day, will I become less awareness? You see? No, awareness is just aware. None of this movement or actions of the body really makes any difference to the reality of who I am. I do not lose by sleeping, nor attain by effort, not thinking in terms of loss or gain. I am happy. You said that the Maha Mantra of the ego is what? What's in it for me? What's in it for me? You see? So that's the second line. You want to attain something in this world. You want to get something. What's in it for me? You see? But the first line is the most important. I do not lose by sleeping. You see? This is not making an excuse for being lazy. This is saying what I am remains even in sleep state. What is it that remains in sleep state? If you can recognize this in the waking state, that is an awakening. You see? If you can recognize what is it that remains even in sleep state, if you can recognize that in the waking state, that is called waking up in the waking state. You see? What is it that remains even when I go to sleep? Who is there to see that I woke up and the time was 7:30. Who is there to be able to distinguish the difference between sleep and waking? Where did the concept of sleep come from if it is not our direct experience? Even if the direct experience is that there is nothing there, who is experiencing this nothing? This is very, very, very beautiful and powerful, because it will make you in the waking state to see that that which I am continues, irrespective, even if the whole world disappears, then there is nothing that this world can take from me, and there is nothing that I want from this world. If you can recognize yourself to be this self, which is unchanging, even though the state is changing, from waking to dreamless sleep, what is that which is constant? Who says I experience these three states, including that state in which nothing is? So the question, are you aware now, is pointing you to this. Am I aware? What is the distinction between I and aware? That which is aware is that awareness itself. I do not lose by sleeping, nor attain by effort. Not thinking in terms of loss or gain, I am happy. When we see that I am unaffected by any else, anything which is lost, does not truly apply to me in reality, then this whole world is just a movie, a game. And the Leela becomes fun. As it is said in the Course in Miracles, this life is experienced like a happy dream. That is the usual experience. And the last verse in this chapter is that pleasure and pain fluctuate and are inconsistent. Without good or bad, I live happily. This is again looking deeply at what we were saying about the sensations of the body. On the computer? And we saw that the appearances of these sensations are just appearances. When we attach it to the me thought, then we say these are my experiences. They're very intimate. So I'm not saying that they are not intimate, but intimate as they might be, they do not touch the reality of you. If you're able to just bring yourself to look at the sensations of pain and pleasure, you will find that they are not being experienced personally. They're just part of the same universal experience that consciousness is having. Because you cannot find that individual entity which we have presumed to be the experiencer. Continue with Ashtavakra or something else?
When I was coming the bus, I counted it was a thought. Things are going on, experiences are coming. Finally, came to the recognition.
Came what?
Experiences
Were coming.
are coming.
Yes.
Okay, so one is thoughts, feelings,
Yes.
sensation.
Yes.
Sensation to the body through
Sensation.
5 these things,
Yes.
right? So only these things are happening which I
Yes.
am seeing.
Yes.
That's all.
That's all.
And if we bring these words also to one word, experiences,
Yes.
even that level also is gone.
Yes.
Okay, we have to tell some
Something.
words.
Yes. Yes.
And here I felt, I am not, in the last 3 verses, he says, I am happy.
Yes.
Instead of that, I am aware.
Yes. Yes.
Because if it is, I am happy, then people will think, okay, then if we come to that state, we will be happy.
Happy. Yes. 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 That's a good point because happiness is also seen. It is also an appearance. But you will find actually that those who are coming to the end of their false conditioning, even in their phenomenal play, they come across as happy. You see, there is happiness which is more constant. I wouldn't say 100%. You see, with those, but once you see that I am awareness, unchanging, you find that more than any other label, there's a deep sense of contentment, you see. It's just like a contentment. It's more like that. And actually, I don't know what the original Sanskrit was.
I saw happiness of
Yes,
I
exactly.
was aware, so still I am aware when I am sleeping. And another thing came because when we are sleeping, sorry, if anybody can ask for others or ourselves. When we were sleeping, there was memory. We can very clearly tell memory.
Yes,
Who is aware?
yes,
Anybody can tell in this world.
yes.
Father, in case you can hear us, you are frozen here. Beloveds, I will now end the broadcast as I as I'm not able to connect with anyone of the Satsang team. So Satsang is over. Thank you. Bye.